Hello, it's Pedro Lazar, and this is another episode for all you value investors out there. Now let's jump right into it. I'm currently on the Edgar homepage, SEC Filings, Securities and Exchange Commission of the United States. Now, I have Alibaba here in the company and person lookup. I'll go search. We're going to continue with Alibaba Group Holdings. And we are going to take a look at the latest 20F. For foreign companies, it's equivalent to the 10K. So something to take note of, 20F for Alibaba. So we click Documents. Here, and I'm just showing you how to navigate to get into the 20F for Alibaba. I also have it over here already, so I guess I don't need both of these screens, both of those tabs with it. Now, as promised, I want to get into the dirty work. Let's together start going through an SEC well, in this case not a 10K but a 20F filing, and really start to dig deep on a company. And I might be silent for a lot of this. I'm just going to be reading through, and every now and then I might mention something which I find interesting, and aside from that, I'm just going to be reading. So if I'm silent, that's why. Okay, guys. Okay, so the first that I will mention here, well, obviously they're mentioning a lot of their struggles. China I think still continues to experience a lot of shutdowns, severely impacting the supply chain. That being said, they're mentioning how resilient they are, and they're also explaining their focus for their strategy. So it says here, our globalization strategy is making solid progress, and our overseas active consumers reached 240 million, with Lazada's swift growth in Southeast Asia, rapid expansion of AliExpress in Europe. So Southeast Asia, and then AliExpress in Europe. It says a healthy development of our investee company, Trendyol in Turkey. So one thing that I find quite interesting is the statement here, and I'm going to go through this SEC filing very quite meticulously and slowly, so no stone is left unturned. This may take numerous episodes, but I'm going to go through it slowly. So it says here, by leveraging our understanding of the industry's complexities to transform traditional retailers such as RT Mart and incubate new omni-channel retail formats such as Fresh Hippo, we are addressing a wide range of consumer needs through a full range of high-frequency fulfillment services that includes 1 hour delivery, okay, half-day delivery, and next-day delivery. I'm sort of lost for words. Okay, 1 hour delivery, half-day delivery. Yeah, that's, I don't know, that in itself I find a bit of a competitive advantage, when you start getting into then such as a 1 hour delivery window. How many people can offer that in general? I find that interesting, even half day delivery. So, okay. Another interesting then is, it says here, to further expand our consumer base in less developed and rural areas. A bit of a tongue twister for me. Okay, so, and an important channel for serving price-sensitive consumers with our multi-dimensional new retail matrix. So the interesting here, they, as mentioned, they want to go for a consumer base that's less developed in rural areas, that is definitely more price sensitive. And how they are going to do this, they say they believe they can do this because the combined capabilities that we have accumulated over the years, product and supply chain, fulfillment and delivery, consumer management, and social commerce channel development and operations have made Alibaba well positioned to build out a healthy, sustainable new business that will enrich our new retail matrix. So, I guess they're calling this, this is their new channel, and it's called New Retail, and it's a matrix. So that's how they're going to attempt growth in that segment. I guess they still see a lot of potential growth in a lot of underdeveloped areas. So interesting. Okay, so right off the bat here, our Alibaba Cloud is our second pillar of growth. So this isn't their main source of growth, but it's their second pillar of growth. I said revenue grew 50% year over year to surpass renminbi 60 billion renminbis. Hello guys, this is my partner again. She's checking up on me. I think she just woke up.
I'm picking my nose though. What you reading?
It's for my channel. I'm on video right now recording,
Oh.
and I'm doing a recording of I'm gonna slowly go through an annual statement of Alibaba, and just just bit by bit do episodes for different portions of the filing. So yeah, they can gain insights into it.
Okay, honey, I'm gonna put on a sweater. It's kinda cold for me.
Obviously, cloud has great potential. But that being said, I think what's also very interesting is when you take a look at the Ding Talk integration, especially for mobile office platforms for enterprises. It should be interesting to see how this develops going into the future. Okay. So their mission, when Alibaba was founded, this was their mission statement: to make it easy to do business anywhere. That was their main focus. Interesting language too. We have remained committed to taking a long-term approach and investing for the future. That's language I like to hear as a value investor. So just to summarize a bit of what I've been reading, one interesting then to take note of is their one innovation bet on a map, which seems to be a yeah, it had 100 million daily active users. A platform supporting users during their travels. But I guess it became more than that over time. And then also how they're trying to attract the best talent. And they're also trying to, it says here at the bottom, a more agile. They want an organization that's agile. They want to be able to focus their main priorities. They want to focus on our customer experience, customer value creation, and customer mindshare. Customers mentioned 3 times there. I'm just really trying to put attention to their language, even though they are concentrated on, even though they say they want a nice culture, there's definitely a heavy emphasis on the customer there. And it'd be interesting to dive deeper on that aspect of customer reviews. I think I'll definitely dive into the data of customer reviews at some point. And I should also really dive into how the employees are finding it working at Alibaba, at this corporation, and I really want to find out, dig deeper. How is it really working at Alibaba going into the future? I think it's really important to have a place that fosters a great culture. So it'd be interesting to even just research on that. Okay, so I'm going to continue reading here. And sorry if I'm a bit of a slow reader. I just want to go through everything very carefully. Okay, so it was interesting here. The date was April 20th, 2021. They say Alibaba received the administrative penalty decision issued by the State Administration for Market Regulation. The abbreviation is SAMR, of the People's Republic of China. Okay. So they received, as you may know, a pretty heavy penalty. Even though I've gone over a lot of their finances. I want to go over SEC filing again, slowly, to really understand Alibaba. So let's see what else we can find. Okay. It was interesting also in the one paragraph how they said they're going to integrate consumer internet and industrial internet under one umbrella. They say this is an important positioning and path for Alibaba's future, because they say they started as an internet company. So, okay. Okay. Okay, so right off the bat, when they start addressing the risks, they start off by mentioning the fragility of the market. They know the market is fragile, so they just get that out of the way right off the beginning. How a lot of their projections may be off, depending on more of a macro situation. On that note, you may know that there's also a housing, a real estate crisis happening in China. Also with the lockdowns, and now there's even continued amount of stimulus, maybe not on the same scale as in the U.S., but that's also an issue. So definitely some severe, macro conditions affecting China. Okay. So they're going to go, this is a summary of a lot of the risk factors. So right off the bat, I find this very interesting, this statement: maintaining the trusted status of our ecosystem is critical to our success and growth. And failure to do so could severely damage our reputation and brand. So I think they understand right now in the general atmosphere towards equities in China is very volatile, and maybe a lot of investors are becoming very sour with the current state that China's in, and the way investments have been performing. the Hang Seng Index has gone down, I think now over 30%. And I remember the one time reading one article, I believe it was George Soros wrote an article of some of the history of China, and expressing his frustrations through the article. And so I just find that sentence interesting. Sustain investment in our business, strategic acquisitions and investments, as well as our focus on long-term performance and on maintaining health of our ecosystem, may negatively affect our margins and our net income. So they understand in the short term, when you have a long-term goals, you may have moments that your margins are impacted. They're talking about growth being affected. Again, they talk about their culture. They talk about the network effects of their ecosystem if they can't maintain them. If we're not able to continue to innovate, or if we fail to adapt to changes in our industry, our business, financial condition, and results of operations would be materially and adversely affected. Our failure to manage significant management, operational and financial challenges involved in growing our business and operations could harm us. We face risks relating to our acquisitions, investments, and alliances. We face challenges in expanding our international and cross-border business operations, changes in international trade or investment policies, and barriers to trade or investment, and ongoing geopolitical conflict may have an adverse effect on our business and expansion plans, and could lead to the delisting of our securities from the U.S. exchanges and other restrictions or prohibitions on investing our securities. So you've probably seen a lot of FUD in the market mentioning delisting of Alibaba. Hopefully the audit goes through. I know that they're now trying to work with each other, and it seems that it might Alibaba's Alibaba might finally be audited properly by the SEC. But that being said, I'm not holding my breath. Who knows? Maybe last minute it falls through and it doesn't happen. So nonetheless, I would still be I still wouldn't take Alibaba off the table. I think there's a large still a large margin of safety, considering how discounted it is. But you still got to be careful with these risks. These are real risks, and risks that I think it's important to mention. That's why I want to go over them slowly, and a lot of these could become, a lot of these could materially affect Alibaba quite badly in the future. Alibaba could capitulate and go down to $50 a share if all of a sudden, I don't know, say the United States' market decides to tank, and at the same time there's no cooperation between U.S. and China, and geopolitically it gets worse, and the audit requirements aren't met in the U.S. by China, and then all of a sudden, Alibaba could be facing two headwinds at once. So that is something to be aware of. And will you be able to stomach that loss? Is definitely something to consider in your portfolio for the long term. Okay, so let's get back into it. changes in international trade or investment policies and barriers to trade or investment, and ongoing geopolitical conflict may have an adverse effect on our business and expansion plans, and could lead to delisting of export control, economic or trade sanctions, and heightened trend towards trade and technology decoupling could negatively affect our technology supply chain and ability to recruit talent and conduct technological collaboration, and could subject us to regulatory investigations, fines, penalties, or other actions, and reputational harm, which could materially and adversely affect our competitiveness and business operation, as well as lead to significant decrease in trading prices of our ADS shares and or other securities. I think this is a really good I think this is really important to note. So Alibaba did experience they received a penalty, and they received a really large fine, and if Alibaba in the future continues to experience large fines so much that it severely impacts their cash position and their ability to invest into the future and maintain, as they said, their current ecosystem, well, I really think we got to revisit the valuation of Alibaba, because that really changes the game, especially if we note that competitors are gaining a larger cash position, gaining a larger market share of e-commerce, and at the same time they're not receiving as many penalties as Alibaba, and they're in better standing. That is definitely something to consider for the future, because as an investor, you want stability in your investment. Okay, so now they're talking about Alipay. I'll read it because I think it's important to read. We rely on Alipay to conduct substantially all of the payment processing and all of the escrow services on our marketplace. If services and products provided by Alipay or Ant Group's other businesses are limited, restricted, curtailed, or degraded in any way, or become unavailable to us or our users for any reason, our business may materially and adversely affected. Okay. Ant Group, which provides payment processing services as well as facilitates other financial and value-added services, is subject to a broad range of evolving laws and regulations, and additional requirements and other obligations imposed on Ant Group could materially and adversely affect our business and the trading prices of our ADS shares and our other securities. And as you guys may have noticed, especially with all the news, Ant Group is under a lot of heat. It's being, it seems to, the offering got, it seems, scrapped. And who knows, maybe there could be an offering, but to the market of Ant Group, but I highly doubt it. And again, they're just mentioning another risk. Okay, here we go. Anti-monopoly and unfair competition claims or regulatory actions against us may result in our being subject to fines, constraints on our business, and damage to our reputation. And so anti-monopoly fines, PRC regulations regarding acquisitions impose significant regulatory approval and review requirements, which could make it more difficult for us to pursue growth through acquisitions. Our business and technologies generate and process a large amount of data, including personal data, and the improper use or disclosure of data could result in regulatory investigations and penalties. and harm our reputation and have a material adverse effect on our trading prices of our ADS. Okay, so again, disclosure of data, privacy of people's data. So be interesting in the future again to see how many investigations and penalties they receive and how this can affect their cash position. So we have anti-monopoly fines, we have potential fines for their personal data, and Ant Group seems to be being restructured. And even the payment processing for Alipay. So these are all risks to take note of with. And then let's take a look here. Our business is subject to complex and evolving domestic and international laws and regulations regarding privacy and data protection. Okay, so again, back to the data. Risks and uncertainties related to our corporate structure include, but are not limited to, the following: the Alibaba partnership and related voting agreements limit the ability of our shareholders to nominate and elect directors. The interests of Alibaba partnership may conflict with the interests of our shareholders. SoftBank owns approximately 24.8% of our outstanding ordinary shares, and interests may differ from those of our other shareholders, but I think now SoftBank owns a lot less. I think they dumped a lot of Alibaba. I like to be a bit of a contrarian investor. I feel like when people are extremely pessimistic with Alibaba, I think it's almost a great time to buy even more. But that's just me. Not just to be a contrarian, but I don't know. I feel like Alibaba is still doing really good with their cash position. Okay, we are going to leave it at this page. We are getting to page, it says here, so that was page 2. We're getting close to page 3. And I'm going to leave it there, and then I'll do another episode, and we'll keep reading together through this SEC filing slowly. Again, I appreciate your guys' time. Thanks for following along with me. Please feel free to comment, share your ideas. I'm all open to the good and the bad, and other risks, especially risks and managing risks, and hearing your guys' perspectives. Thanks again, guys, and have a great weekend. Cheers.